Attention! If you've heard any fresh details on this story, drop them below. We read every comment and shout out the best scoops in our next upload.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. Our next story takes us out to the Big Apple as Sean Diddy Combs will be back in court today for day 2 of his trafficking and racketeering trial. Jury selection is set to resume with 19 jurors from the first day's pool moving on to the next stage. Fox 5 New York's Briella Tomasetti joins us live this morning outside the courthouse in Lower Manhattan with the very latest details. A lot of eyes on this case, Briella. Good morning.
Gina, good morning to you, and I can tell you this, it's expected to be another busy day at court. As a reminder, yesterday, potential jurors were given a brief explanation of the charges. The judge also told them that the defendant is presumed innocent until proven guilty.
Major developments tonight involving the case against Sean Diddy Combs, what he decided in court today, and what this now means, the move coming just 4 days before his trial is set to begin. Here's Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, Sean Combs makes it official. He's rejecting the government's offer to plead guilty and spare himself the possibility of a prolonged term in prison. When asked if he turned down the offer, Combs answered, "Yes, I do, Your Honor," as he stood in a baggy beige jail uniform. Terms were not disclosed, but prosecutors did say a plea could result in a shorter sentence for Combs.
The deck is stacked against him. They've got a ton of evidence. Take the plea deal, dude. Just take it.
Well, my guess is that because we don't know the deal of the plea deal. At least I don't think we do.
True.
Okay.
Mr. Combs feels he probably is the only person I know of who might be able to actually accomplish that.
Because I don't like him or I don't believe in his case, I think he's got a very defensible case. To me, this whole case boils down to an issue of consent, right? And as far as I know, I don't know all the evidence, but it's an issue of consent, right? Did they consent or did they not? I mean, was a gun put to someone's head? Or did they want to do it because they were getting all the perks associated with
The Diddy trial, one of the most anticipated legal proceedings in recent years, has taken a turn that no one could have predicted. What started as a high-profile case has now spiraled into a chaotic and unsettling drama, and we're only in the opening stages. As the courtroom filled with media, legal teams, and federal agents, the pressure on the prosecution grew by the minute. And then something disturbing happened. One of their most crucial witnesses, referred to only as Victim 3, vanished. For days, no one had heard from her. Her phone went silent, and attempts to contact her were met with eerie silence. As hours turned into days, the stakes of the trial grew higher. This particular witness was expected to provide testimony that could potentially tie together key allegations against the defendant, Diddy, and offer the jury a first-hand account of the events. Her testimony had the potential to shape the case from the very start, yet now, instead of preparing her for cross-examination, federal attorneys were scrambling to find her, adding an entirely new layer of pressure to the already tense trial. The disappearance of a key witness like this isn't just a logistical problem, it sends a chilling message to everyone involved. Whether she backed out voluntarily, or if her absence was the result of intimidation or fear, the effects on the case were undeniable. Legal analysts argue that a missing witness of this magnitude doesn't just disrupt the flow of a trial, it disrupts the entire strategy of the prosecution. It creates an environment where doubt festers. The absence of Victim 3 may be a tactical setback, but it also casts a shadow of suspicion. Her disappearance raises questions. Was she coerced into silence, or did she simply succumb to fear? Was her disappearance a warning to other potential witnesses about what might await them if they choose to testify? To make matters worse, this wasn't the only disruption that rocked the courtroom. Sources close to the case revealed that one of the jurors had asked to be excused from the trial, citing concerns over personal well-being. This request was granted, but it further compounded the already mounting pressure on the prosecution. When a juror's personal well-being becomes a concern during such a high-profile trial, it indicates just how intense the strain of the proceedings is on everyone involved, both the witnesses and those tasked with judging the case. the case has turned into a pressure cooker, and it's clear that the heat is affecting everyone. Experts familiar with trials of this magnitude explain that this type of breakdown isn't uncommon when the defendant is as powerful and well-connected as Diddy. His influence spans the entertainment world, and his success with bad boy entertainment is legendary. However, as many legal professionals have pointed out, a case like this is never straightforward. The public nature of the accusations, combined with the weight of the celebrity involved, creates unique challenges. For a case of this scale, it's not just about the accusations on paper, it's about getting witnesses to show up, testify, and remain resilient under the glare of the public eye. A former FBI agent, Bobby Chicone, who worked on similar high-profile cases, explained in an interview that investigators often spend months or even years earning the trust of witnesses who are willing to come forward, especially when those witnesses are dealing with powerful figures. The emotional toll on a person who decides to testify against someone like Diddy is immense. Fear of retaliation, the anxiety of public exposure, and the pressure of standing up against someone with a vast network of influence are real and tangible fears. Despite the support systems in place, such as witness protection, victim liaison teams, and legal safeguards, the fear doesn't always dissipate. One strange phone call, a veiled threat on social media, or even an unexpected knock at the door could convince a witness to disappear or back out. Prosecutors, meanwhile, were left to wonder if Victim 3's sudden silence was a product of that very fear. Could she have been pressured into disappearing, or did she simply grow too fearful to face the pressures of testifying?
It will be up to 12 residents of 8 New York counties, including some from upstate, to decide whether Sean Diddy Combs walks away from this case a free man or stays locked down for decades.
Is there anything that you may want to confess tonight before you go in?
I keep everything right here. Or right here.
When a top attorney quits your case in the language used, under no circumstance can I continue. I think people are just pointing at that and say, uh-oh, he can't defend him, and making their own assumptions from there. There have been kind of reports circulating. It seemed like there was a breakdown between Diddy's attorneys about going to trial in May.
Would you be open to a plea bargain?
Well, it's not up to me. It's up to Mr. Combs, and I don't see it happening.
Why?
Because he believes he's innocent. He believes he's innocent, and what's more, he believes that he needs to stand up, not just for himself, for his family, and for everybody who's been targeted by the federal government.
Well, Bill and Sade, accepting a plea agreement would mean that Sean Combs would have to admit to trafficking and force. And today he made it very clear that was not going to happen. Diddy maintained all along these encounters involved consenting adults and plans to take his chances that a jury agrees.
The decision guarantees Combs will face trial beginning just 4 days from now that will test whether one of music's most prolific figures used his power, wealth, and fame to sexually exploit both.
Adding to the already tense atmosphere are reports that Diddy himself may have been trying to influence the trial from behind the scenes. Some sources have suggested that at least one public statement made in his defense was crafted, or at least heavily influenced, by Diddy or his associates, likely in an effort to sway public opinion or undermine the prosecution's case. If true, this would point to an organized effort to interfere with the legal process, a serious accusation in its own right. But despite these setbacks, the prosecution is pressing forward. They still have a list of individuals ready to testify, some of whom will appear in public, while others will remain anonymous for their safety. One of the most anticipated testimonies is expected from Cassie Ventura, Diddy's ex-girlfriend. Cassie, now pregnant, has already become a central figure in the case due to past video footage showing a disturbing altercation between her and Diddy in a hotel hallway. Diddy's defense team has attempted to frame the incident as a private disagreement, but prosecutors believe that the footage and Cassie's testimony could prove otherwise. What makes Cassie's testimony even more critical is its emotional weight. Legal analysts predict that Cassie's current condition, being pregnant, will likely make her appear even more sympathetic to the jury, potentially making it harder for Diddy's lawyers to deflect blame or paint her as equally responsible for past events. Despite the mounting pressure, Diddy has rejected any notion of a plea deal. Insiders revealed that prosecutors offered him a deal that would reduce his potential prison sentence to 10 or 15 years. But Diddy has remained resolute in his decision to fight the charges. His legal team allegedly advised him to consider the deal, but he insists on maintaining his innocence, claiming that the accusations against him are exaggerated. Some speculate that Diddy's refusal to settle stems from his unwavering belief in his innocence, while others believe it might be a form of denial. Regardless of his motivations, federal prosecutors are preparing to bring everything to court. If Diddy maintains his stance and refuses to settle, there's a possibility that additional charges could be added, including those related to contraband and other potential violations uncovered during federal raids of his properties. There are even whispers of a superseding indictment, a second wave of formal charges that could further complicate Diddy's defense. These developments have caused many in the legal community to warn that the longer the trial drags on, the worse it could get for Diddy. In addition to the criminal proceedings, a civil lawsuit filed by a man named Joseph Menzero in Florida has added another layer of complexity to the case. Menzero claims that he was drugged and exploited by a network allegedly orchestrated by Diddy and others. The lawsuit names several individuals as potential defendants and points to a larger, more organized pattern of abuse. Although Menzero doesn't directly accuse celebrities like Jay-Z or Beyoncé, their names appear in the lawsuit as individuals who may have knowledge of the events that took place. While the civil and criminal cases are technically separate, they are becoming increasingly intertwined as the investigation progresses. Attorneys representing clients in civil lawsuits related to the case have confirmed that many of their clients are cooperating with federal investigators. One lawyer, Andrew Van Arsdale, claims he has spoken with over 400 individuals who have credible stories to share, in addition to the 37 clients he currently represents in active lawsuits. The scale of the civil suits against Diddy is staggering, and the fact that fear continues to hold many potential plaintiffs back speaks volumes about the power he wields. As the legal proceedings continue to unfold, more disturbing details are emerging. Court filings reference sealed documents, unnamed co-conspirators, and possible connections to individuals involved in other civil cases. One particularly unsettling account was shared in a documentary interview where a woman recalled seeing individuals dressed in costumes at one of Diddy's infamous gatherings. While the veracity of this claim remains unconfirmed, it adds yet another layer of intrigue and concern to an already complex case. Meanwhile, Diddy's defense team has been fighting tooth and nail to suppress evidence seized from his homes, including video footage taken during notorious events known in the media as freak-offs. His lawyers argued that the warrants used to seize the footage were flawed and that the evidence was collected illegally, but the judge rejected these claims and ruled that the evidence would be admissible. This means that the public may eventually be allowed to see and hear footage that Diddy's team desperately tried to keep hidden. One more surprising twist, out of more than 60 lawsuits filed against Diddy, a few have already been dropped. In some cases, the plaintiffs chose to remain anonymous and later withdrew their cases. In others, discrepancies between interviews and court filings raised questions about the legitimacy of the claims. However, despite these withdrawals, the sheer volume of lawsuits still points to the fact that this legal battle is far from over. The most pressing concern now is time. If prosecutors are allowed to introduce new evidence or pursue allegations of previously uncharged conduct, the trial could stretch on for months, far longer than the initial 3-week estimate. While Diddy may be hoping for a quick trial to publicly clear his name, the legal system may not allow him that option. As the case continues to evolve, it's clear that every day brings new twists, whether it's a missing witness, leaks from court documents, or whispers of other celebrities being drawn into the investigation. With prosecutors determined to press forward and hundreds of potential claims still under review, it may take a long time before the full scope of this case is fully understood. One thing, however, is already certain. This trial is much bigger than anyone ever imagined, and it is far from over.